Hello friends, in this module we will learn definition, some examples and some basic concepts on metric spaces. First of all, we are going to define metric space. Let X be a non-empty set. A function D from x cross x to R is said to be a metric or a distance function on X if D satisfies the following properties. First property, dxy is greater than or equal to 0 for all x comma y belongs to X. That means the distance between any two elements in X is always non-negative. That's why this property is also called as non-negativity property. Second property is dxy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y. That means the distance between two elements is 0 if and only if that two elements are identical. This second property is also called as identity property. Third property is dxy is equal to dyx for all xy belongs to X. That is, the distance between any two elements taken in any order is same. This property, that's why called as symmetry property. Fourth property is dxz is less than or equal to dxy plus dyz for all x, y, z belongs to X. That is, the distance between any two elements in X is always less than or equal to the sum of the distances of that two elements from any third element of X. That's why that three elements may form a triangle, and hence this property is also called as triangle property or triangle inequality also. If all these four properties are satisfied by D, then D is called as a metric and order pair XD is called as a metric space. See, as these properties are for metric spaces, these properties are denoted by ms1, ms2, ms3, ms4, ms for metric space. Now we are going to introduce some examples here. First example, the function D from R cross R to R defined by dxy is equal to mod x minus y, and this is a metric on R. Actually, this is our usual distance between real numbers, and now we want to show that this distance function satisfies the four properties of metric. See, as modulus of any real number is greater than or equal to 0, that means mod a greater equal 0. Modulus of x minus y is also greater equal 0 for all xy belongs to R. But mod x minus y is nothing but our definition of dxy. Therefore, it implies that dxy is greater than or equal to 0 for all xy belongs to R. Therefore, the first non-negativity property is satisfied by D. Further, dxy is equal to 0 if and only if mod x minus y is equal to 0. But we know that the absolute value of 0 is equal to 0, and that is the only real number whose absolute value is 0. Therefore, mod x minus y is equal to 0 if and only if x minus y is equal to 0, and x minus y is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y. Means here we prove that dxy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y. And therefore the second property of metric is satisfied by D also. Now for third property we have to consider any two elements of x, any two elements of R. For xy belongs to R, see dxy is equal to mod x minus y. Now this x minus y can be written as minus into bracket y minus x. As we know that the absolute value of negatives of numbers are same, means absolute value of minus a is equal to absolute value of a. That's why this absolute value of minus into bracket y minus x equals to absolute value of y minus x, and absolute value of y minus x is equal to dyx by our definition of D. This means that dxy is equal to dyx for all xy belongs to R, and therefore this D satisfies the third property, that is symmetry property of metric also. Now for the triangle inequality we have to take any three elements x, y, z in R. Then for these three elements, distance xz dxz is equal to, by definition we will get mod x minus z. Now we have to introduce the third element y in between them by adding and subtracting it. Therefore it can be written as mod x minus z is equal to mod of x minus y plus y minus z without changing the value. Also there is a triangle property or triangle inequality for the absolute value of real numbers, that is mod a plus b is always less than or equal to mod a plus mod b. Therefore this mod x minus y plus y minus z is always less than or equal to mod x minus y plus mod y minus z. And again by definition of D, this mod x minus y can be replaced by dxy and mod y minus z can be replaced by dyz. Therefore indirectly we will get for x, y, z belongs to R, dxz is a less than or equal to dxy plus dyz, and hence the fourth property, triangle inequality, is satisfied by dxy is equal to mod x minus y, and therefore in all four properties are satisfied by D. Therefore D becomes a metric on R. As it is standard definition of distance between real numbers, this metric is also called as standard metric, and it is defined by absolute value. It is also called as absolute value metric, and it is our usual distance between real numbers. Therefore it is also called as usual metric on R. Now see, our second example is the function D from C cross C. C means set of complex numbers. C cross C to C defined by distance or dz1 z2 is equal to mod z1 minus z2. It is also a metric on C, as this absolute value function on set of complex number is same as that of the absolute value function for set of real numbers. It satisfies all the four properties similarly as that of D in example 1. Therefore it is obviously a metric on C, and it is also called as absolute value metric on set of complex numbers. Now see, our third example is, let x be a non-empty set of function D from x cross x to R defined by dxy is equal to 0 if x and y are identical, and it is equal to 1 if x and y are different. Then this D satisfies all four properties of metric. Therefore it is a metric on x, and it is called as a discrete metric on x. Therefore this metric space is called as discrete metric space. Now we are going to verify that this D satisfies all the four properties of metric. If we observe carefully, we can conclude that dxy is always greater than or equal to 0 because its value is either 0 or 1. Therefore, dxy is always greater than or equal to 0 for all xy belongs to x. And therefore, first property, that is non-negative property, is trivially satisfied by D. And again, as a distance xy is equal to 0 if x is equal to y, and it is not equal to 0 if x is not equal to y. This tells us that dxy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y, and therefore the identity property, that is second property of metric, is also satisfied by D. Now for the third property, if I consider any two elements x and y of x, then there are only two possibilities for that x and y. Either we will get x is equal to y or x is not equal to y. If x is equal to y, then dxy is equal to 0 and dyx is also equal to 0. And if x is not equal to y, then y is also not equal to x, and therefore dxy and dyx both are equal to 1. And hence, in any situation, we can conclude that dxy is equal to dyx for all xy belongs to x. Therefore, this function D satisfies the third property, that is symmetry property of metric also. For the fourth property, we have to consider any three elements of x, and we have to show that now dxz is less than or equal to dxy plus dyz. Now we will consider two cases. First case, if x and z are equal, then obviously by definition of D, dxz is equal to 0. And on the other side, dxy and dyx both are greater than or equal to 0, therefore their addition is also greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Therefore, we can simply say that this dxz equal to 0 is less than or equal to the addition dxy plus dyz, because dxy plus dyz is greater or equal to 0 and dxz is equal to 0. In this situation, we will get the inequality dxz less equal dxy plus dyz. Okay. Now, suppose x is not equal to z, then by definition of D, dxz becomes equal to 1. Now, our target is to show that the sum dxy plus dyz is at least 1. Is at least 1 means at least one of them is 1, or there may be 0 or 1 also. If we consider that both are 0, distance xy and dyz both are 0, then what we get? X is equal to y and y is also equal to z. Then it implies x is equal to z, which is a contradiction because we assume in second case that x is not equal to z, and therefore dxy and dyz both cannot be simultaneously 0 in this second case. Therefore, at least one of them must be 1, and hence their addition is at least 1 or greater than or equal to 1. Therefore, in this second case also we will get dxy plus dyz is greater than or equal to dxz, and hence dxz is less than or equal to dxy plus dyz for all x, y, z belongs to x. And hence this fourth property, that is triangle inequality, is also satisfied by D, and hence D is a metric on X. This discrete metric has so many beautiful properties. We will see later on in the next modules of metric about this discrete metric. Then Our next example, this fourth example, is let xd be a metric space. Let A subset X be non-empty. Define for x comma y belongs to A. Now we are going to define a distance function on the elements of A. Suppose that distance function is denoted by delta. Now how we have to define that delta? Delta xy is equal to dxy. See, as A is a subset of X, the elements of A are also an elements of X. Therefore, when we are going to define function on A, we have to just define that delta xy is equal to dxy, where d is a metric defined on X. See how delta becomes a metric on A, and as this metric is induced from the superset X, it is also called as induced metric on subset. Whenever there is a metric on superset, and if we have to restrict it to its subset, it is called as induced metric. Now it is still remain to show that delta satisfy all the four properties of metric. See, for the first property, if I take any two elements x and y of A, then that two elements are also elements of X. Therefore this delta xy becomes dxy, and as d is a metric, dxy is always greater or equal to 0. Therefore indirectly we will get delta xy is greater than or equal to 0. Therefore delta also satisfies the non-negative property of metric. If delta xy is equal to 0, then automatically dxy is equal to 0, but d is a metric on X. Therefore dxy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y, and hence indirectly we will get delta xy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y. And therefore the second property, that is identity property of metric, is satisfied by delta also. For the third property, we have to consider two elements x and y of A. By definition, this delta xy is equal to dxy, and as d is a metric on X, this dxy is equal to dyx. Again, initially we have considered that x and y are elements of A, y and x are also elements of A. Therefore this dyx must be equal to delta yx, and hence finally we will get delta xy is equal to delta yx for all xy belongs to A, and therefore the symmetry property is satisfied by delta also. For the fourth property, similarly we can consider three elements x, y, z in A, that all three elements also belongs to X. Therefore the distance between them with delta can be replaced by d also. Therefore delta xz is equal to dxz. D is a metric on X, x, y, z belongs to X. Therefore by triangle inequality of D, this dxz can be written as less than or equal to dxy plus dyz. But all these three elements belongs to A. Therefore dxy can be replaced by delta xy, and dyz can be replaced by delta yz. Therefore indirectly we will get delta xz less than or equal to delta xy plus delta yz for all x, y and z belongs to A. Therefore the triangle inequality property is also satisfied by this function delta on A, and therefore delta becomes a metric on A, which we have already noticed that it is called as induced metric on subset when it is induced from superset. Now there are some more examples of metric spaces. First example, let D1 from Rn cross Rn to R defined by D1 xy is equal to summation of mod xk minus yk, k is from 1 to n, where x and y are obviously n tuples, as x is equal to x1, x2, xk plus 1 up to xn, and y is equal to y1, y2 up to yn. These are the n tuples of real numbers, belongs to Rn. And this function d1 from Rn cross Rn to R is defined by the sum of the absolute values of the difference between coordinates of x and y. See, as absolute value is always non-negative, their addition is also always non-negative, and therefore d1 xy is always non-negative or greater than or equal to 0 for all n tuples x and y in Rn, and therefore the first property is trivially satisfied by d1. For the second property, if I consider d1 xy is equal to 0, then what it implies? It implies that the sum of the absolute values mod xk minus yk are, the sum of the absolute values is 0, but none of the absolute value is negative, and still the sum is 0. That means that every absolute value mod xk minus yk becomes 0, and it is 0 implies that every xk minus yk is 0, and it implies that xk is equal to yk for all k's, means the coordinates of x and y are same, and therefore the n tuples x and y becomes equal. That means d1 xy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y, and hence the second property, that is identity property, is satisfied by d1. Third property is very trivial. You have to just replace mod xk minus yk is equal to mod yk minus xk, and we will get d1 xy is equal to d1 yx for all xy belongs to Rn. For the fourth property, we have to just use the idea of absolute value metric on set of real numbers and go through that idea, and we will get d1 xz is less than or equal to d1 xy plus d1 yz for all the n tuples x, y and z in Rn. Therefore this d satisfy all the properties, and it is d1 satisfy all the properties, and therefore it is a metric on Rn. Second example, let d infinity from Rn cross Rn to R be defined by d infinity xy is equal to maximum of mod xk minus yk 1 less equal k less equal n. See, again mod xk minus yk is always non-negative for every k, therefore their maximum is always non-negative, and hence d infinity xy is always greater than or equal to 0 for all xy belongs to Rn, and hence the first non-negativity property is satisfied by d infinity. Again for the second property, d infinity xy is equal to 0 if and only if the maximum of mod xk minus yk is 0. As we know that none of the mod xk minus yk is negative, means all the absolute values are non-negative, and their maximum is 0, means all absolute values mod xk minus yk must be 0 for every k from 1 to n. This implies that every difference xk minus yk is 0 for 1 less equal k less equal n, and hence xk is equal to yk for all k from 1 to n. This tells us that the n tuples x and y are coordinate wise identical, and therefore we can say that d infinity xy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y. That is, the identity property is again satisfied by d infinity. Third property is very trivial. You have to just replace mod xk minus yk by mod yk minus xk, and we will get d infinity xy is equal to d infinity yx for all xy belongs to Rn. And the triangle inequality can be proved by using the idea of absolute value metric on set of real numbers. And hence, in all, we can say that d infinity satisfies all the four properties of metric, and hence it is a metric on Rn. Next, third example, let d from R2 cross R2 to R defined by dxy is equal to mod x1 minus y1 plus mod x2 minus y2. Actually, this is as good as the metric d1 given in first example. It is defined from Rn cross Rn to R, and it is defined by just the sum of mod xk minus yk, k is from 1 to n. And if I take n is equal to 2, it reduces to this function defined in example 3, and therefore obviously it satisfies all the three properties as like d1 in example 1, and therefore it becomes a metric on R2. The beauty of this metric is when we diagrammatically observe the distance dxy is equal to mod x1 minus y1 plus mod x2 minus y2, that diagram looks like the cab. See here, the distance between a x1 x2 that is equal to x and b y1 y2 that is equal to y. It is nothing but the sum of the distances mod x1 minus y1 and mod x2 minus y2. These two distances togetherly looks like a cab, and therefore this metric is called as taxi cab metric. Fourth example is defined on Rk, d from Rk cross Rk to R defined by dxy is equal to square root of the sum of the squares of the differences between the coordinates of x and y. Actually, we already observed this metric as a distance between two ordered pairs or distance between two ordered triplets in a space, and already we know that distances are called as Euclidean distance, and hence this metric is also called as Euclidean metric on Rk. You can restrict it to R, R2, R3, R4, etc. And obviously it satisfies all the four properties of metric. You can verify it. Then fifth example, given an NLS non-linear space V with norm, a metric D from V cross V to R defined by dxy is equal to norm x minus y. Now this norm acting on V acts as like absolute value acting on set of real numbers, and therefore it satisfies all the properties as like absolute value metric on R, and therefore it becomes a metric on non-linear space V. Sixth example, let x is equal to LP. What is LP? LP is a set of all sequences of real numbers xn that satisfies the condition summation of mod xn raised to p and whole summation raised to 1 by p is less than infinity. Means it is the set of convergent, it is set of sequences whose series mod xn raised to p raised to 1 upon p is convergent. Then we have to define the metric d on LP as a function d from x cross x to r defined by dxy is equal to summation mod xn minus yn raised to p and whole summation raised to 1 upon p for all the sequences x is equal to xn, n is from 1 to infinity, and y is equal to yn, n is from 1 to infinity in x. Obviously, this pth root as positive pth roots, therefore dxy is always greater or equal to 0. First property will be get satisfied. Second property, dxy is equal to 0 if and only if these pth roots are 0. This is possible if and only if the sum is 0, and sum is 0 if and only if all the pth power of mod xn minus yn are 0. It is possible if and only if xn is equal to yn, and therefore dxy is equal to 0. It is possible if and only if the sequences x and y are identical or equal, and therefore the identity properties is satisfied by D. Again, third and fourth properties can be verified by using our standard or absolute value metric on R. Therefore, it is a metric on X. Next example, let X be the set of all real sequences, then the function d from x cross x to r defined by dxy is equal to 0 if both the sequences are equal, and if the sequences are not equal, then you have to just find the first member of x and y that are different, and you have to take the reciprocal of minimum of the suffix x and yi for which xi is not equal to yi. Then see, as the minimum of xi different from yi is always positive, its reciprocal is always positive, and therefore dxy is always non-negative or greater than or equal to 0. First property will be satisfied by D very trivially. Now for the second property, we can easily observe that dxy is 0 if and only if x is equal to y. If x is not equal to y, dxy is always non-zero. Therefore the second property, that is identity property, is trivially satisfied by D. For third properties, if I take any two sequences x and y in x, if both are equal, then dxy and dy is both are equal to 0. If both are not equal, then we have to find the minimum of the suffix for which xi is not equal to yi. You have to take its reciprocal. But xi is not equal to yi, it is same as y is not equal to xi, and therefore in the second case also dxy becomes equals to dyx. Therefore the second property is also satisfied by D. For the third symmetry property, for the fourth triangle inequality property, we have to consider the three sequences x, y and z, and we can easily verify that the triangle inequality property is also satisfied by D, and therefore D is a metric on the set of Rayleigh sequences x defined by the manner as shown in display. Therefore D is a metric on x. Next example, if D is a metric on x, then the function delta defined on x cross x to r defined by delta xy is equal to minimum of 1 and dxy, it is also a metric on x. It is very obvious, As the dxy is always greater equal 0, 1 is also greater equal 0, their minimum is greater equal 0, and hence delta xy is greater equal 0 for all x and y in X. First property is satisfied by delta. Now delta xy is equal to 0 if and only minimum of 1 and dxy is equal to 0. But 1 is not equal to 0. 1 is greater than 0, and therefore minimum of 1 dxy is 0 if and only if dxy itself is 0. But d is a metric on X. Therefore dxy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y. Hence indirectly we can say that delta xy is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to y, and therefore the identity property is satisfied by delta. For the third property, if I take any two elements x and y of x, then delta xy is equal to minimum of 1 and dxy. But d is a metric on X, this dxy can be replaced by dyx also. Therefore it equals to minimum of 1 and dyx. But the minimum of 1 and dyx itself is equal to delta yx, and therefore delta xy is equal to delta yx for all xy belongs to X. And hence the third symmetry property is satisfied by delta. For the fourth property, we have to take three elements x, y and z of X and consider delta xz. Then this delta xz is equal to minimum of 1 and dxz. Now this dxz, as d is a metric on X, can be written as less than or equal to dxy plus dyz. Now as dxy is less equal dxz is less equal dxy plus dyz, the minimum of 1 and dxy is less than or equal to minimum of 1 and dxy plus dyz, and it is again less than or equal to minimum of 1 and dxy plus minimum of 1 and dyz, and therefore indirectly we will get that will be equals to delta xy plus delta yz, and hence the triangle inequality delta xz less equal delta xy plus delta yz is satisfied by delta, and hence delta becomes a metric on X. And we can easily observe that this delta cannot be greater than 1, and therefore we can say that this is a bounded metric or bounded function on X or bounded metric on X. Means we can say that from any given metric on a set X, we can find a bounded metric on the set X. Okay. See, ninth example, if D is a metric on X, then the function delta from x cross x to R defined by delta xy is equal to dxy upon 1 plus dxy for all xy belongs to X. You can easily verify that delta xy satisfies all the four properties of metric, and it is a metric on X. 10th example, if d1 and d2 are metrics on X and Y respectively, then we can define the metric on the Cartesian product of X and Y. See, then the function d from x cross y to R defined by d of x1 y1 comma x2 y2, where x1 y1 belongs to x cross y and x2 y2 also belongs to x cross y. That means x1 and x2 belongs to x and y1 and y2 belongs to y. And as there are a matrix d1 and d2 on x and y respectively, we can say that d1 can be defined on x1 x2 and d2 can be defined on the order pair y1 y2. And you have to just choose the maximum of these two distances d1 x1 x2 d2 y1 y2, and that maximum is defined as d, or distance between order pairs x1 y1 and x2 y2. And we can easily observe that as d1 x1 x2 and d2 y1 y2 cannot be negative, their maximum cannot be negative, and therefore this d x1 y1 comma x2 y2 cannot be negative. It is always greater equal 0. First property is satisfied by D. For second property, if I consider d x1 y1 x2 y2 is equal to 0, then the maximum of these two distances becomes 0, as maximum of these two distances is 0 and none of them is negative, we can say that both the distances must be 0. d1 x1 x2 is equal to 0, d2 y1 y2 is equal to 0, and it is possible if and only if x1 is equal to x2 and y1 is equal to y2, because d1 and d2 are already matrix on x and y, and therefore it indirectly implies that order pair x1 y1 is equal to order pair x2 y2, and therefore we can say that d x1 y1 x2 y2 is equal to 0 if and only both the order pairs x1 y1 and x2 y2 are equal, and therefore the identity property is satisfied by D. Third property is very obvious. We have to just interchange x1 y1 and x2 y2, means we have to interchange x1 and x2 as well as y1 and y2, and it is possible as d1 and d2 are also matrix on x and y. Therefore the third property is easily satisfied by D. And similarly we can verify the fourth property, that is triangle inequality property, for this function D, and therefore D is a metric on x cross y. As it is a metric on Cartesian product of x and y, it is also called as product metric on x cross y. Now we are going to observe some logical questions on metric space. First example, let x d and y delta be two metric spaces, and we have to verify whether there is a metric on x union y which induces d on x and delta on y. And we have to assume here that x and y are disjoint. X intersection y is equal to phi. See, its answer is yes. And see, how can we define that metric on x union y? To observe this or to verify this, we have to take two cases. First case is, suppose x and y are singleton elements sets. Say x is equal to singleton x and y is equal to singleton y. Now as d and delta are matrix on x and y, we can say that dxx is equal to 0, delta yy is equal to 0. And when we define some function on x union y cross x union y, then we will get three types of order pairs. Order pair containing elements belongs to x only, containing element belongs to y only, and containing element belongs to x and y. That means order pair xy or order pair yx also. Therefore we have to define a function on x union y cross x union y to r as d1 xx is equal to 0, d1 yy is equal to 0, and third possibility d1 xy or d1 yx both are equals to 1. d1 xy is equal to 1 and d1 yx is also equals to 1. Means for the elements belongs to different set, we have to define it is equals to 1, and elements belongs to the same set, we have to define it equals to 0. And as this d1 has the property as like discrete metric, we can easily verify that d1 satisfies all the properties of metric, and hence in this case we can say that there is a metric on x union y. Suppose at least one of x and y contains more than one element or single element, then there is very tricky to verify whether there is a metric on x union y or not. See, here we have to use the same but edited metric, as in first case, d1 of AB is equal to d of AB. What is d? D is the metric on X. That means when A and B both are belongs to same set X, then d1 AB equals to dAB. Again, if A and B belongs to same set Y, then we have to define d1 AB is equal to delta AB, as a delta is a metric on Y. Now the most challenging thing is when A and B belongs to the different sets X and Y, then you have to take the supremum of all the possible distances between the elements of X as well as the between the elements of Y. It is equal to supremum of dx1 x2 delta y1 y2, where x1 x2 belongs to X, y1 y2 belongs to Y. And you can easily verify that this d1 again satisfies all the four properties of metric, and therefore it is a metric on X union Y. And hence the answer of this question is yes. You can define a metric on X union Y which induces D on X and delta on Y. It is trivially shown in this example that if we restrict d1 to X, it becomes D, and if we restrict d1 to Y, it becomes delta. That means d1 induces D on X and delta on Y. Okay, now example second. In any metric space XD, show that mod dxz minus dyz is less than or equal to dxy. This is very easy to prove. You have to just use the identity in absolute value of real numbers, that is mod A is less equal B if and only if minus B less equal A less equal B. Therefore, to show this mod dxz minus dyz less equal dxy, we have to just show that minus dxy is less than or equal to this dxz minus dyz, and it is less than or equal to dxy. Therefore, we have to use their triangle inequality. As XD is a metric space, for xyz belongs to X, we can say that dxz is less than or equal to dxy plus dyz, and also dyz is less than or equal to dyx plus dxz. Here dxz less equal dxy plus dyz can be modified as dxz minus dyz less than or equal to dxy. And the second, dyz less equal dyx plus dxz can be modified as dyz less than or equal to dxy plus dxz. We can modify as like this because dyx and dxy both are same by the symmetry property of metric. Now from these two inequalities, we can easily write first inequality as dxz minus dyz less equal dxy, and from second we can write minus dxy. You have to shift dxy to the left and dyz to the right. That's why we get minus dxy less equal dxz minus dyz for all xyz belongs to X. Now this second inequality can be written first as minus dxy less equal dxz minus dyz, and the first inequality dxz minus dyz less equal dxy can be attached to is, so as to get minus dxy less equal dxz minus dyz less equal dxy. And by using the property of absolute value mod A less equal B if and only minus B less equal A less equal B, we can get the conclusion that mod dxz minus dyz less than or equal to dxy for all xyz belongs to x. In this way, the second example is completed. For any query, you can mail your questions to my email address mrsanjaymas@gmail.com. We will interact again through the next module soon. So subscribe this channel for the alert.